This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
I see a lot of people that try to conform when they go into business to be what they think management is going to like. But it's so important to stay who you are. If you're an outspoken, fun person, be outspoken and fun and be uniquely, courageously yourself.
I could get in trouble with how I'm going to start. So let's just throw it out there. But already I know that the relationship that we have over the years allows me to feel confident to go here. Because I have not seen you in 1,000 days, 3 years, longer.
It's been a minute. I think it's been longer. It's got to be longer.
I mean,
it's got to be
happens.
like 4 or 5 years now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Your hair looks great. As a guy that doesn't have hair. Okay. I mean, I have some hair, but not like you look great. And again, I want to apologize in advance to the listener as they're driving or on their walk or wherever they are. Like last I remember of Amanda Dunks, it was like jet black straight hair. Is this a new? This is what I'm saying. Okay. Am I getting in trouble for this?
No, it's a few weeks new. And so I'm giving it a test drive, going a little bit more summery. And, we'll see if it sticks. It's quite a commitment, though. Like to get your hair done, it's 4.5 hours of sitting in a salon.
See, I knew there was something good about being bald. The amount of time I save because, I have my own razor. It costs $20. This is what a great way to
and
start.
Money too. Let's not even get started on money. No.
Well, but there's a therapy too, I'm sure, sitting in the chair and having a conversation or vegging away, right?
I think some would agree with you. And I feel like as we go through this podcast, you'll probably learn more and more. And you've known me for a long time. Sitting still for 4.5 hours is not for me. I don't find that to be like self-care downtime. I'm thinking of 30 other things I could be doing in 4.5 hours. And so, yes, but also no, because it does force me to slow down though. Although I've only done it once, I don't know about the consistency of the upkeep. So,
are you claustrophobic?
No, I'm not actually.
I didn't know if it was like getting constrained to a chair for 4 hours. It's like, please, this is not a
no. It's just there's only so much you could do from that chair for 4.5 hours. There's only so many emails you could answer, or listen, my days are work, my nights are baseball, 6U, 7U baseball. So I'm thinking about baseball field cleanups and
you must be dominating that league right now, right? Are you dominating that league? Have they not caught up that you're not 6 or 7 years old yet?
Honestly, the 7U players are probably better than I am, but I make a great sideline coach mom. So it's what I'm here for.
I love that we jumped in. So this is great. So when we last left off, you had a 2-year-old ish. And since then you are now the senior vice president, brand strategy, ampersand, creative development. This is like the world's largest business card or the world's smallest font, but awesome. Awesome to see. And, you go on your way. I've gone on my way, and there was a lot of change when we stopped working together. It's all, that's not what this podcast is all about. I mean, there was a sale. Maybe why don't you kind of let the audience know about the sale and what went down there and what's happened since.
The merger, Eldorado Resorts purchased Caesars Entertainment back in 2020. So amidst the pandemic and everything that was going on, we were acquired. And I have to say, it was hands down one of the best things that could have happened for me in my career. Interestingly enough, when the merger took place, it was truly when the casinos were shut down and everything was happening in the middle of the pandemic. So, there were unfortunately furloughs and other situations which were happening across companies everywhere. But it gave me the chance, because I was still on board, to really get to know our senior leadership team that was taking over and their likes, dislikes, how I could be helpful to them. And so all of those things combined probably one of the best things that had ever happened to me. And then El Dorado, which was much smaller at the time, purchasing Caesars Entertainment and immediately, basically overnight, becoming a very, very large enterprise of casino and hospitality. It was a big deal.
Do you think because it was the pandemic, yeah, like, I mean, life got put on timeout, but you didn't have a choice but to get to know personalities and get to know the family. Do you think that played a big role in like, hey, we like this Amanda Dunk. And you know, I describe if like if you weren't here and I was talking to someone else, I would say I think a lot of people they talk the talk, but like you actually walk the walk. Like you actually do what you say you're gonna do. You're a straight shooter. You never like not give it to me straight. You're good with the fastball. I'm good with the fastball. I'm not much of a curveball person. Speaking of U7, U6, right? And do you think that worked in your benefit on this one?
To be honest, I think I would have gotten there eventually anyway. I think it helped expedite. I'm a big watcher of people. I'm a people watcher. I like to, pay attention to how people are interacting with others, what they're talking about, what their interests are, so on and so forth. And that's how I learn. I'm not always the most immediately intuitive. And so I think it helped expedite some of what would have happened eventually. And it did shed a little bit of light because there were fewer people in an otherwise massive organization. It definitely opened doors that maybe would not have been there otherwise. But, it was something I asked to be on the merger team. So I do believe that it would have happened no matter what, because I would have made that same decision no matter how many different ways you would have spun the situation. To ask to be on something that was so big and so important to the company was something I was dead set on being a part of.
So give me like a few of the learnings from that. Like, was there a big, oh man, I like this ride. Thank God I have my seatbelt on, or was it more? I just learned so much, and it's funny. My Vegas days today are very different than when I was in my 20s and 30s. So I call the other Vegas now. So like we just took our kids to see O. We're those parents, which was amazing. But in the spirit of shows like Hamilton, right, in the room where it happened, like you're actually in the room where it happened. By the way, Hamilton, I don't think is in Vegas; it's still on Broadway. But being in the room where it happened, like what was like the big like aha moments for you across the last few years?
Trial by fire is okay is probably the biggest aha moment. And that was definitely, as you know, because you've known me for years, I've come up from a very low level position within the company. And when I got to the point of even just being VP, there was nobody there at the time to necessarily tell me like, yeah, this is how you use the budget software. And I'm over there like contacting, all the, and so it was trial by fire. It was figure it out and be fast about it, right? And the idea of perfect was gone in that moment. And that was my biggest takeaway. Like, you don't need to be perfect, you need progress. And so if I can get something for my new leadership team to react to, that's a learning moment for me that I can go back, fix it, bring it back, and I get closer and closer every time. But, in my former roles, perfection was everything. And so this experience changed that for me. And it frankly changed how I do business with my team now, which is much larger than it was before. And it also taught me, it changed my perception of like how I look at people. I look at people for both the things that they do great and how I want to emulate that, and then the things that like I definitely don't want to take away. And that's something I paid attention to a bit leading up to this, but I learned very quickly, what I do and don't want to be. And I hold my ground on that. And that's been important through this whole process, or even up till now. It's been rapid fire change. And I just let that be okay. And that's something that's very, very new.
Well, it's kind of one of those things it's like, oh, here in the moment now I think back to our working relationship. I could see that. I could see that perfectionism was important, but you guys were also, I think the culture was different. And I'm not here to vilify the last culture because we both have lots of friends from that last life, but I could see why you'd feel that you needed to be perfect. Like I could see why you'd feel that. And I obviously haven't met anybody on the new leadership team, but I do think that if there is a data point of being courageous, it starts with vulnerably admitting that you've changed, and
Yeah.
you've changed. It's not just your hairstyle, right? It's like here we are on like, hey, and I imagine that the team must enjoy. Let's get the team on the phone, right? Let's get the whole how's Jenny Gall, by the way? I miss her. Is she doing okay?
Jenny Gall is doing great. Jenny Gall was also promoted, so she is now the vice president of brand.
Huge
Still on
shout
my
out.
team.
Love that.
Yes, yes, so well deserved. And Jenny and even the former Caesars team, like I had a great support system for myself and my role and my growth in the former Caesars. In the new Caesars, it's interesting because I was in something recently where they were talking about, and not to make this like a man versus woman thing, because that's not the intent, but they were discussing that men are hired based on their, what is it, their ideas or their potential, and women are hired based on their achievements. And I would have to say the new company right off the bat hired me on my potential. They hired me because I had an idea. And so I walked in feeling like I already had this support system. When I approached them about the idea of let's merge brand and creative and keep these teams together, they didn't say, no, you don't have any experience in that, which I didn't, right? My most experience as a, agency individual was as an account executive. So I'm coming into this, like, I've got an idea, and if I can make it work, it's going to be great. And they're like, okay, let's give it a try. And that changed my perception of how this merger was going to go. So you always walk into these things a little bit scared, but I always had that support system from both the former Caesars team and then walking into the merger with the El Dorado team. I felt supported going from that perspective too. And that was so important and so valuable to me. And then I've had Jenny with me every step of the way. And so that's been, she's a rock, as you know.
Yes. Is it still, I mean, again, when I think about the last team, to your point, yeah, it's not to knock the team. I just remember how it really felt corporate-y. It just felt like, and everybody was time starved. Maybe everybody's overwhelmed, but everyone, was like this person in, this person out. It wasn't like they were on to the next job. They had too much to juggle. What, if you were going to describe the culture now, is it still very corporate or has it changed?
We're still corporate, but we're trying to change how we think about that. And I think the benefit of where we are now is we and you may have experienced this in your past life as well, but like brand and creative, a lot of times are very separate from one another. And it builds these silos or these sort of like, we do this and you do this. And the whole idea behind combining the two was that we work as one unit, because the strategy that brand builds influences creative, and the creative is an execution of brand. Like they just naturally fit together. Now I say that because what breaking down that wall does is it actually creates a world where we can start having a little bit more of an agency mentality. And frankly, it's something we're still working towards, changing that morale, changing that perception of ourselves. And we'll never be a full-fledged agency. We'll always be a little bit corporate. It's kind of like how someone in New York says, but I'm a little bit country. We'll always be a little bit corporate, but we're trying to have fun with it, right? And that's something that like this year, we're putting a huge emphasis on driving that change of like, how can we have a little bit more fun? The workload is always there. That's never going away. We service over 50 properties, corporate units, now Caesars Sportsbook and iGaming. So the workload is always insane. It's just how we manage it and have fun with it that truly is the value that we're trying to provide for this agency.
Well, I also think you're right. Like, if you're gonna have to work hard, you might as well bring the play to the table. And I don't know many people that want to go to Vegas and not play and escape. So, like, if the fact that you'd have that energy as part of, let's like remind ourselves that it's about escapism a little bit. It's about play. It's about
Yeah.
fun, right? And how do you weave that into your work and make sure that people are having a good time along the way? One of the things, I think you remember this, but when we had worked on the business, and I don't mean to memory lane this entire podcast here, but like,
No, it's fine. I love it.
there's a colloquial way that people address properties. And for example, I remember when, especially in Vegas, like I would go to Cosmo and I'd have friends who be like, no, Cosmopolitan. I'm like, okay, the consumer calls it Cosmo. Like that's
Mhm.
not, this is what we call it. And so I think when people think about Caesar's Palace, or Caesar's Entertainment, they call it Caesar's. And sometimes what gets left off the table is the entertainment piece. And I think as a creator, that's the interesting part is entertain, entertain, entertain. Like everywhere along the way, you have to show, not just tell and entertain along the way. So as someone that's now running brand strategy and creative development, like how do you go about making sure, hey, let's not forget brand matters. Being on brand matters. Making sure that we're entertaining matters. Is it still everyone feels like a Caesar? Is that still the high level idea, or is it different now?
It's different now. So now Caesar's Palace was like a Caesar. That was where you and I were playing in the sandbox together for a little bit, and that was definitely the overarching theme. I would say right now we are still finding that footing. So we are in the process of, at least on my team, when I think about the idea of like, what does it mean to be here? How do we keep that idea of entertainment? It's something that we're still working through while maintaining brand, right? Because there's somehow this misconception that the look and feel of creative is the brand, and like you have to step and repeat it or else you're off brand. And that's not entirely true in my mind. Like having a little bit of fun, I think it's ultimately about knowing who we are as individual properties, right? So like that approachable luxury of Caesar's Palace, that fun of Harrah's, the serious gambler of Horseshoe, and just leaning into that. I'm not saying make everything look different all the time, but just know who we are. And I think we're constantly evolving that as a brand, as we should be. But we're spending a lot of time now making sure that all of our brands are falling not identical with each other, that we're not oversaturating ourselves in that family of brands, because we do have more brands now. We've got Isle, we've got El Dorado, we've got Silver Legacy, Tropicana. So there's a lot of learning still happening, even it's now 3 years, 4 years since the merger. And I feel like we're just now getting our foot of like, okay, what are we doing to make sure that we're showing all those entertaining moments? Caesars is great, right? Because you've got Adele, you've got Garth Brooks. And so like the entertainment is right there. It's how do you bring that to life? That's always a little bit of a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
I see there's an NFL ball over your shoulder there. Tell me, is it signed?
It is wait for it, these fellas up here. Wait, where are they? There we go. Peyton and Eli Manning. So
Never heard of them.
Oh, no, not who are those guys? No, they're absolutely wonderful. They're partners of ours. And the last commercial shoot that we did, they sent me this ball and sent me that signed photograph. Somewhere over here, I also have the Jake Peavy signed ball from the White Sox, which I thought was really sweet. I know I'm a big Padres fan.
Yeah.
So they found a player who went in between.
You got to come home, which we're giving away where you're from, and we'll go hit a game because already this season is like 1,000 times better than last season.
Oh my good. First of all, I am huge Manny Machado fan, but if we could just talk 2 seconds about Jackson Merrill, who is
Stud.
coming like out of the woodwork, just blowing me away.
Can't gamble at your casino, but
definitely don't gamble out of it, and just don't.
But you know what? But there's a great segue into strategy. Okay, so speaking of strategies, yeah, maybe don't gamble, Jackson Merrill. You're doing just fine with what you're doing. For those of you who are like, and you want to Google Jackson Merrill, he is a 20-year-old center fielder for the Padres who has always sort of been in the farm system, and we've been hearing about this guy. And guess what? Soto goes to the Yankees for 27 players, and okay, that's an exaggeration. I think it was like 5, and Jackson Merrill takes a center fielding job, and he's a shortstop, by the way, who has learned this position and has just been dominating. Now, my hope this episode won't run for 2 to 3 weeks, but my hope is that he continues to evolve and grow, because already it's cool to see him go from the 9th in the lineup to the 7th. We've
The
got
lead off.
I think there's some discipline here with the manager. All right, I like what we're doing. So let's talk brand strategy versus creative development. And also and I don't mean it from the title, but I mean from there's a senior vice president part, there's a brand strategy part, there's a creative development part. And the SVP part, I think, is more, not only is it the title, but I'm sure that there's at some point it's a leadership. To me, that just says leadership. And then there's
100%.
brand strategy, and then there's where are we going, right? And then there's the actual, let's roll up our sleeves and get, ideation and tactical and creative development. So let's say there's a podium and you have to pick your gold medal, your silver medal, and your bronze, and you have to do it. No, we're gonna stay right here until we do it. Do you have an order of bronze, silver, and gold of the 3 titles or 3 roles?
It depends on how explicitly you're defining the management role of SVP. Because one of the things that I have found that I love, I love brand. It's been my whole career for the most part. And creative development is something it's really fun. It's exciting to see these things come to life. What really does it for me, though, and where I want to spend most of my time, is the people. And so it's the SVP part for me. That's the goal. And the other 2 fall lateral to each other. I don't think of my team members as team members. I think of them as partners. And that, to me, changes how I lead my team, because without them, without my vice president of brand, without my executive creative director, without all my associate creative directors, production artists, traffickers, you name them, account executives, I couldn't be here doing this. And conversations with them, their feedback, their insights, their willingness to just come talk to me, that's everything to me. And there's obviously the administrative side of things, budgets, technology, stuff like that. That's, I feel like, the daily responsibility of any SVP. But those interactions put SVP beyond gold for me. What's beyond a gold medal? We just
Double gold.
double gold.
Double gold
It's
medal.
double.
Okay, so what's silver? Brand strategy or creative development?
I combined them for a reason, because I don't have to choose now.
Well, the double gold SVP has decided that all of her children are equal. Okay.
It's true though. The one does not outweigh the value of the other, right? Because if I have a poor brand strategy, it's going to poorly influence the design, and things are going to get erratic and messy and disjointed. If I have a poor design, then I can't effectively communicate brand strategy. So honestly, they couldn't be more equal in weight of importance or value to me, because they feed off of each other.
Okay, what's the bronze then? So if those are tied for the silver, what's not in the title that's also part of the job, that there's joy, and it's still on it's still on the podium, it's the bronze.
Just like a part of the job. Okay. Public speaking. I do it, and I'm okay doing it, but it is something I get nervous before any time that I do it public. It doesn't matter if I am the expert in the room. It doesn't matter if I'm presenting to my own team. Actually, 100% of the time I cry. I get emotional when I'm addressing my own team. So that just makes me more nervous going into speaking engagements like that. So that gets the bronze. I love it because I'm getting interactions I wouldn't otherwise get in some cases, but it terrifies me because I'm pretty sure I black out when I'm doing them. And then I'm like, what did I just say?
If you would have said time utilization, I would have been no. Timesheets, that would have been a pass. But hey, I still get nervous presenting and keynoting because I wanna connect. I want to land. I don't want to. It's not about. It's not about me. It's you're trying to help a team or a leader be more brave, or pick a courageous idea, or lead forward with courageous reinvention. and you want to be good. Like I want to be great at what I do. And so I still get nervous, and I can I can feel my like heart palpitations before I go out and do what I do in that space. And I think that's healthy. I think the minute you stop is the like getting nervous is the minute you got to actually audit yourself and wonder, okay, wait a minute, why am I numb here? In the spirit of letting people really see you, not the title of Amanda Dunks, let's play a game called This or That. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, this or that. Vegas Strip or Vegas everywhere else?
Ooh, am I allowed to ask follow-up questions?
Sure.
Okay. Is it Vegas Strip for a night out? Or like, are we talking about a night out, or are we talking about just like to walk around, or
This is yours to answer.
I need details. All right. So Vegas Strip, honestly, one of the best places just to like walk. You want to see some cool stuff. You walk down the Vegas Strip. There's everything there. The people, the lights. I heard someone say the other day that Nashville was the like neon city, and like I'm sorry, maybe it has a lot of neon, but like Vegas is really bright. So Vegas at night would be my answer. I'm sticking with that. Vegas at night,
Okay. Vegas Strip
but
at
not
night.
like 2 Yeah.
Okay.
Like just
Wh-
decent enough into the night where I'm not a nightclub yet, because I've passed my nightclub phase.
That's the line. Okay. Not 2 a.m. night, actual night.
Right.
Right. All right. Work from home or work from work?
Both. I think a combination of the two is if yeah, I'm work from home right now, but 3 days out of the week we are working office. I cannot stress this enough. I think the downtime is great, but I think the human collaboration is better.
Okay.
Both.
Maybe I didn't explain the rules here. It's this or that, not this or slash and that. So if you got to pick one, work from home or work from work.
Work from work, because I think the collaboration is so important.
Yeah, this isn't like I agree, just to like who cares if I agree or concur, but I think that innovation is losing right now, and I think next generation is losing, if I'm honest. And I don't think it's I think they're like, what do you mean? I'm so productive. I pick up and I don't have a commute to an hour to work, an hour back. And I'm like, yeah, but you also it's like your calendar is 30-minute blocks, 8 in a row, and it's so transactional. And those those conversations, like and again, I'll be the first to admit, like, do you have a minute? Which is never a minute. Someone comes to your door, do you have a minute? And like an hour, 20 minutes later goes by, but that collision is where the good stuff usually happens. It's messy. And so I'm with you on work from work versus work from home.
Yeah, I want to have an argument about some of my courageous ideas. I want someone poke holes in it, make it better, make it bigger. Come to me with your own. Like, and I feel like that doesn't happen so much when you're just working from home. So
Las Vegas Knights or Las Vegas Raiders?
nights. Oh my gosh, I can nights.
I think you're staying kind. Very well done. This is, you almost went there. I was excited to
Nights
see.
all the way. I
Okay.
mean, they came in hot. They came in at a time that the city needed them after the October 1 shooting. They were a huge support system to the community. And then not only that, but they freaking crushed it year one. I mean, obviously we didn't take home the Stanley Cup that year, but we got there faster than, anyone expected. So
Okay, last one. Eli Manning or Peyton Manning?
I can't choose a Manning. You can't make me choose a Manning.
This is an or. This
Um,
isn't an and. This is an or game. This or that. You could go Archie. You can go.
I would go Archie. Archie. So I knew Archie first. And so I had met him first. So then meeting his sons was like icing on the cake. But I've spent more time with Eli. So I'm gonna say Eli, but both Mannings, just to be clear, are absolutely wonderful humans. They say don't meet your heroes, and I would say that the Mannings are an exception to that rule. And they are also extremely tall, like both of them, giants.
Well, not surprised by that. All right, last this or that. Chief Marketing Officer or Chief Experience Officer?
I'm thinking way too hard about this, but I'm going to say chief marketing officer. I like the tradition, and I don't think it excludes anything, but I think it is clearer about what you do, and it clears up any mess for me. So it's like mental organization.
There's a Adweek report. I don't know if you saw this on the old tenure of the CMO. Have you seen this? It's now down to
No.
37 months, which is the lowest it's been in a long time. And it's I mean, look, it's always been low, but it's sort of sad that, and again, I want to make sure we're not griping for the purposes of griping, but that this is like, I think because people don't understand chief information officer, chief tech officer, that's almost harder to unwind. And it seems easier to unwind chief marketing officer. But I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole at this point. But in spirit of this and staying positive, you had said a few minutes ago, yeah, I want someone to like, let's spar. Somebody argue. Let's argue. Arguing can be healthy on courageous ideas. And so, is there like a brave project you're working on right now that you can share?
I can't share all of the details about it. So it's going to make it a little bit less fun. But if I'm successful in what I'm going to tell you, you will find out this coming NFL season. But I have been pursuing a specific talent that I think could make a wonderful addition or pairing to my Manning brothers that would just be perfectly synonymous with football. And I've been pursuing them for about 3 months now, and I finally have a sit down with this individual this Friday. And so if all goes well in this next NFL season, we'll see something pretty cool coming out of our side. But that's been one of those things where it was like the thrill of the chase meets just a really talk about courageous idea. Like it was very out of the box, and at least for us as a gaming company. And so hopefully it comes to fruition, but that's kind of all I can give away, at least today.
What city is the meeting in?
It is in Las Vegas.
I was hoping you'd be like New Orleans. No. Do you still get scared with your work? Do you get scared? And if so, what scares you?
So, I mean, I talked about the public speaking scaring me. I think a little bit of everything scares me, right? Like my whole job, my whole career is about building almost like these fictional characters, but their personalities for properties or outlets or things like that. So my whole career is based on, in some regards, like a shot in the dark, right? And so every step that I take, every new project I take on, I have to go in knowing that I need a thick skin, that I need to be prepared for maybe I got it wrong. And so, but I will say, kind of like we talked about, when that merger happened and things became more trial by fire for me, and I was learning new things and I was learning new skill sets rapidly, I kind of learned to embrace the scare, and it fuels me a little bit. Like stress fuels me. Like I get excited about it. If I'm not scared, I don't know that I want to be doing it because I'm not impactful.
I mean, there's so much to that thought, right? And I always used to say when we would present ideas and we would get a client pacing on an idea, I'm like, that's the one you want. Like that's
Yeah.
the one, like when we would get asked back, do you think you could pull that off? And I'm like, that's still the recommend, because I think where people get it wrong, it's like it's not the first time something is funny. It's if you see it the ninth time and it
Mhm.
still like makes you laugh and chuckle, like that's how you kind of know you're onto something.
Yeah.
And now even, the line we talk all the time about, like brave what's hard, like what's the hard stuff, like take on the thing that's hard. And I think when you work with certain teams, that's what they don't want to address. They don't want to go after the hard stuff. They fall short of that conversation, right? And so
Yeah.
how do you jumpstart a team or leader, right? And drive that togetherness, but go exactly through what's hard. When you think about unlocking the greatness of the team you're working with right now, because like that's part of the SVP part, right? That's part of the
Yep.
leadership part. And I love that. Like if you take that idea, which sounds, well, we have to be perfect, but really it's almost giving your team permission to go get progress, I'm assuming,
Yep.
right? How do you kickstart?
Yep.
Like, what is your cadence with your team? Are you meeting with them weekly? Is it monthly? How does that, that dialogue go?
I walk the floor. I mean, they're not far away from my office. So again, benefit of being in the office. I talk to the directors that report up to me and the VP that reports up to me on basically a daily basis. There's not really one-on-ones because if I wait a week, it's too long. And then the team beyond that. So talking about all the other, there's 100+ people on my team, walking the floor, just chatting with them. A lot of them will stop by, and if I have time between meetings, is like popping over and standing in the account executive bay and, just chatting with them with no real intent behind it. We tried to do quarterly all hands with everyone. They're like a big shebang, a big to do. And that to me is like the time for me to show gratitude and thanks to the team. Who's, like I mentioned earlier, without them, there's no need for me. And I respect and acknowledge that. But all in all, I'd say what I am trying to do, and I did a lot of things wrong when I first took on the team. I did the lack of transparency thing, the over transparent thing, and everything in between. But what really stuck to me is there's a level of transparency of telling you, what you need to know and like truly what's going to impact you, how it's going to change, and how it can or may impact your job, but what my outcome is supposed to be, to get them on board with me. Because I think treating them more like those partners versus just employees or team members, it makes them feel like they can speak up, they can talk. And that's something we're still working through, but that's my approach to sort of motivating them, managing, a large portion of an organization.
Right, so take us home here. I think I always love to like step back and go, if someone has stayed with us through the whole episode, they're clearly like engaged in the convo, they're invested in this. And I think we have three different types of people that listen. I think you've got a very curious individual who wants to be more brave, is constantly pushing. I don't think they're like not brave, but they're looking for to push on courageous ideas or courageous culture. I think you have, second is probably, I think the industry, whoever we talk to, like the vertical itself, you'll get people from the vertical, right? And then, shock. So maybe some of your colleagues will listen. Hey, everybody. And then I think third, it's just, I have my, where I go, I get a chance to go talk at a bunch of different places. And so it's been cool to meet that community of folks. And maybe they're not like on the front lines in creative or marketing roles, but it is more of a leadership angle. So maybe it's how do you want to end? What's your sort of takeaway sign off? Two, is there a challenge you have maybe for this group? And then, permission granted, if you got a question for me or a comment for me, I'll take that too.
I think my sign off and my challenge would be one and the same, which is I don't feel like anyone should be afraid to be uniquely themselves in business. I've never turned down who I am or toned down who I am to do business. And listen, I'm out there, I'm loud, I'm proud about it. And there's some people that are going to like it. And then there's some people that aren't. And then the other aspect to that is if you stop loving it, stop doing it. And for me, that's always been the case, is if I don't love it, why do it? And I've been here for 13 years now, so I clearly love it.
Well, it sounds like it continues to be a challenge and different every day. And and you've seen progress and the team is growing. It's so great. And I will vouch that when I think of Amanda Dunks, I'm definitely thinking of someone who's not afraid to say what she feels, but also like you keep it fun. Like I always felt like you were fair, but you were firm. And again, you were fun with your feedback with us at all times. So it's cool to sort of see how far you've come. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, Amanda, like, yeah, you've earned this title, but I don't think you've like changed who you are. I think you're still the same Amanda Dunks, like telling it like it is.
I see a lot of people that try to conform when they go into business to be what they think management is going to like, and to a degree, you grow up changing a little bit about yourself, evolving. And I think that that's important. But it's so important to stay who you are. If you're a outspoken, fun person, be outspoken and fun, and let people gravitate towards you for that. If you're more reserved, use that to your advantage. Listen, learn, but just be uniquely, courageously yourself.
I mean, how else could you end the show but that? I mean, it's great to see you. Come back and visit your hometown, San Diego. It's pretty much your hometown, right? Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I was born and bred there. Yeah, we got to go see a Padres game.
All right, let's
My
do
kid's
it.
a huge Jackson Merrill fan, so
All right,
we'll go see it.
and Nicole Miller, who runs our action team, basically ran marketing for the Padres for 3 or 4 years. So we will make that happen for sure.
Let's do it. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.